at the WGGA. All right, so if I were to start right here, I talk about the universality of love for trees. And this was a cartoonist from Alaska, Wiley Miller. He's in the comics every day. But he says proceed without caution. So when we find nature, we embrace it. And that's what he's trying to emphasize here. So I'm just going to launch right into recreational tree climbing for no good reason whatsoever. But occasionally we do have reasons. So here's some, and then I told you before that I'm a name dropper. So this is Ryan Michael Swiderski, and this is a giant sequoia tree that burned up in the fire about 2 years ago. And you can see how big Ryan is, and he has limbed this tree, which is hanging over these cabins. So he had a crane pick up the branches. And the tree is now gone, unfortunately. So Ryan's an amazing individual. You're about to hear a lot about him because he is on the lecture circuit training arborists. Here's another good example. This just shows how big this branch is that he's standing on. He's hired by the National Park Service. All right, now here's my claim to fame. This is my picture. Okay, so this tree is a famous tree. It's about 20 feet away from Pacific Coast Highway. It's at a tourist attraction. There's a gift shop inside the cavity of this hollow redwood tree that is 18 feet in diameter. So they got a visit from the State Highways Department and said, your tree is dropping branches near the highway. We're afraid of the tree. Please cut it down or somehow make it safe. 250 feet tall. So what we did was we put 25 guys and spent a week on pruning this tree. This is the largest single tree volunteer project. There's been other volunteer projects. And so we got to do this tree for free, for fun. These arborists came from all over. One guy rode his motorcycle from Washington, D.C., where he was the arborist for the U.S. Capitol building, all the way to California. But where do these trees start? They start someplace. And we need to give them a good start. Arbor Day is a great time of year to do it. Okay. This slideshow is full of amazing stuff, including this search and rescue simulation where we hauled the airplane fuselage up into a giant oak tree on top. Part of it was on top of this Connex container. There was another container here. Each of these had trash test dummies in them. Right in here, and there was 2 dummies right here. So we had our climber team of 6 people go up, get the dummy, and we assessed how safely they rescued these simulated victims. So this is called Treeapalooza, and the subtitle is A Brief Evolution of Competition Leading to Treeapalooza. So this was in 2019 in Florida, and it's still going on now. It's in its 3rd year. There is a movie about this. This is the actual centerfold from a magazine called Arb Climber. I'm pitching Arb Climber magazine. It's $6.50 by mail order at rescuemagazines.com. There you go. Wow. Okay, here's another one. This is the last issue of Arb Climber magazine, and this is called The Big Tree. And this tree is in not Jedediah Smith, it's in Montgomery Woods State Reserve in central coastal California. And so I just wrote about my experience climbing the tree. Here's a couple German guys that came over. Bettis Strasser in the white hat. He is the 8-time world tree climbing champion, Bettis Strasser. And for fun, what does he do on vacation? He comes over from Germany, climbs redwood trees, just for the heck of it. Okay, another commercial. The International Society of Arboriculture, formerly known as the National Shade Tree Conference, started in 1924. We're about to have our centennial in 2024, next summer in Atlanta, Georgia. Come to the ISA convention. There's going to be about 2,500 to 3,000 people there. And find out about how arborists get together and collaborate and share. And so what's the alternative? Screwing up. I've had my share of screwing up. This one wasn't mine, but yes, we can screw up, and if we collaborate, we can do better. We can strive, we can be ambitious, we can want to improve. All right. So as you were coming in, you were watching a movie. That was a high line strung between 2 trees, and these are those same 2 trees. You can see off in the distance, there's several people hanging from hammocks. Oh, this is working out really good. And there's a giant sequoia. This is about 20 miles south of Yosemite. There's a twin line, so it absorbs twice as much pressure. Use double sheave pulleys. We have backups and backups and backups, and a lot of gear. So that's just an example of some of the gear that it takes to pull off a giant sequoia expedition climb. And the expertise, of course, is way above the complexity of the gear. Here's another tree. This one is near Crescent City, California, right near the Oregon border. And I guess a lot of people know that about 20 miles north of the California border, the redwoods all peter out and there are no more. So this one is about 10 miles south of the California border. This tree has a name. This is called Old Manila. And the reason is because we found an old rope up in the top of the tree. Someone else had climbed it previously. So I love doing the zooming. This particular crowd of climbers are from England, and they made a movie about this called Chasing Adventure. So if you are really into trees, you are going to want to watch this 1-hour documentary film about redwood climbing for fun called Chasing Adventure. They brought their drones. They did all kinds of stuff that other climbers that I've seen haven't done. They were quite exuberant, these Englishmen, 12 Englishmen. I got to know them. They're now my friends. They have a group called Canopy Climbing Collective. The CCC is the Canopy Climbing Collective. All right, so why do we climb? Here's an article in Anthropology magazine, and it tells about how the binocular vision of early humans had depth perception enabled. With 2 eyes looking parallel with each other, we could see how far away we were from branches, and that, along with the opposable thumb, is the things that made humans able to climb trees. In fact, there is a theory that said that human beings did not evolve from cave dwellers, they evolved from tree dwellers, which is not the majority opinion among anthropologists. Here's the arborist. This is Chasing Adventure. This was a teaser, a trailer for this, and you'll notice the size of the guy. And this is the widest trunked coastal redwood. Most coastal redwoods don't have trunks this wide. This is like 24, 25 feet wide, something like that. So go to YouTube and watch the video, Chasing Adventure, the Arborist. I hope you're writing all this stuff down. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of references here. And also the names. If you write down the names of people, also you can find out more by doing the Wikipedia on them. So the title of my talk today, boy, that was a long-winded introduction. People have accused Michael Oxman of being long-winded before. All right. Redwood canopy ecosystems. So how do the various creatures and the various plants coexist? How are we essential to each other? How is there a web of life? What is ecology? So this guy is standing right here next to this 1920s era irrigation dam that's about 7 feet tall. And over the years, water went around the edges of this dam on above and below the creek. The creek runs right through here. In fact, it runs right through there. And this tree sent out a root and it goes right over the creek. So you can actually walk on the root over to where he's standing. This tree is now laying down. They've had windstorms. This is at a Japanese garden in Seattle called Kubota Garden, built in 1927 by a Japanese gardener who started the Japanese Gardeners Association, very similar probably to the WGGA, in 1925 or so. So you can hear about the history of your industry just by coming to this class at 2:30 on February 15th, 2023. And because we're recording this, that date becomes important because I could have given this class 50 years ago. Oh wait, that was when I climbed my first tree. All right, so here we are at Jed Smith Park. This was a solo climb. I found a tree that I could throw the rope up into the tree and get up there. And boy, did I ever have fun. All right, this is another German, Kai Busemann. He's out here on vacation, climbing in the giant sequoias. Kai is a champion tree climbing competitor. He has won the German championships and represented Germany at the International Tree Climbing Championship conducted by the ISA, which is also known ISA, International Society of Arboriculture. I'm going to be giving you a lot of these abbreviations too. All right, so here now the tree has fallen over a couple years later and somebody else is standing next to the irrigation dam at Kubota Garden. There's 11 houses proposed to be built exactly 100 feet away from this dam. I went to court and tried to stop it. They're going to build these houses. So in these ecosystems, you find animals. You also find you find animals that have backbones, and that's how animals are defined by scientists. They're the vertebrates. But you also have invertebrates. You got insects that don't have skeletons. You have microorganisms that aren't even animals. They're plants, they're bacteria, they're fungi, they're nematodes. They're microscopic, some of them. So there is a lot of plant associations. And so our ability to describe the ecology of a forest is sometimes able to be enhanced by visual depictions of what's on the ground. And one way we do that is with contour lines, which are simulations of the slope on the map.